Shooting Gallery is a commonly overlooked ability, being Mesa's second, and its desired stats are contradictory to how you normally build Mesa. Most builds have her sitting at the lowest possible range of 34%, as it is most optimal for her, but it does severely reduce the crowd control capabilities that Shooting Gallery presents. So why am I making an entire video on this one ability? It's because when you put Shooting Gallery on a frame that does build range, like Saren for example, it becomes one of the best crowd control abilities in the game by far. Shooting Gallery provides a few bonuses. The first is an additive damage bonus for both your guns and melees that scales off of ability strength. Admittedly, this is Shooting Gallery's weakest effect, as the base damage bonus is only 25% and it is additive with base damage arcanes and mods like Serration. Interestingly enough though, this ability affects teammates in an odd way. Casting will grant the buff to your Warframe for its entire duration, but for teammates, the damage buff will rotate between them, divided up by the total number of players based off of the duration. Essentially, if I had 30 seconds on the ability and had 3 teammates, it would go to my first teammate for 10 seconds, granting them the same damage bonus that I get, and then rotating to the second teammate, and so on. This function of the ability is not that great, as it is additive damage and a relatively small amount at that, but that is not the reason I am making today's video. While Shooting Gallery is active, every 1.5 seconds an enemy will be targeted by the lasso, releasing a 16-meter wave that jams enemy weapons, stunning them as they try to unjam it. The range at which this happens does scale with mods, although the interval and number of targets do not. This can refresh itself on already affected enemies, and does work on melee units, providing a short temporary stun, but does not affect aerial enemies. This effect is so strong as it practically just immobilizes entire groups or tiles of enemies, pulsing every 1.5 seconds for a massive AoE crowd control, and they just stand there and don't do anything, and you just kill them. Teammates are also granted this effect when they have Shooting Gallery active on them, so you get even better crowd control in a group. Now, if this wasn't already sounding too good to be true, let me introduce you to one of the best augments in the entire game, Muzzle Flash. This mod has the typical Warframe description, nondescript and confusing, so let me explain it for you. After 6 kill assists by a player with Shooting Gallery, Mesa's next shot will blind enemies within 12 meters for 6 seconds. First, this ability does not require kill assists and works just fine in group or solo play, as Mesa's own kills will trigger this blind effect. Second, this blind provides even more crowd control on top of Shooting Gallery's own innate CC. This blind affects enemies with Overguard, making Xmas units a breeze to deal with. It also opens up enemies to melee weapon finishers, which are different than the Parazon Mercy kills, and it does scale off of range and duration. Kill 6 enemies, and with 250% range, you get a 30-meter AoE blind for 10 seconds, pretty much every other shot on Steel Path. Like all of Shooting Gallery's other effects, this again extends to allies, even on their own kills. Probably the best for solo and group crowd control, as it procs itself every other second. Obviously this scales really well with high range frames, but even on base range it functions incredibly well, as the aforementioned AoE blind procs very commonly. And did I mention that this works on Demolist too? Yeah, seriously, this ability is severely underrated, and you know what? Due in part to the fact that Mesa is a bitch to farm normally, being time gated and coming from an annoying boss, but it's really worth getting. So definitely try this one out, guys. You will not be disappointed. But thank you so much for watching, everyone. A quick reminder that I have YouTube and Patreon memberships open where this video was released early, but besides that, you could also gain access to special priority replies, fancy emojis, and also just being like a massive W of a person. So please consider it if you can, as I do YouTube myself and these videos take a long time to make. Thank you to all of my supporters: Bored Platypus, The Mad Monk, Scotty Nose, Bad Robot, Jade Rabbit, Shrike, Raykin, Sage, Serene Crane, Pretend, Seedu, Rave, Calamity, Intellectual, Thorn, Boxy, Corrupt, Keith, Nessie Lover, Nate M, and EE.SOS. Thank you guys so much. I wonder how quick I'm going to be able to say all these in the next one. Maybe I'll practice a little bit. But again, thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope this video was informative and helped you. My name is Kai, and I will see all of you guys in the next one. Peace!